Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. Man, I am excited tonight. This is a big card, two-night event. This is the last night, NXT, folks. Of course, WrestleMania week is here. It's a lot going on, but we kick it off very strong tonight with NXT TAKEOVER, Stand and Deliver. The final night of NXT being on Wednesday nights on USA. Of course, I should say this is the end of the so-called Wednesday Night War. I wouldn't really call it a war when you think about it now. It wasn't really a battle. It wasn't a skirmish. It was more of a tussle than it was a war, especially for some shows fighting to barely get over 1 million views and whatnot, and only stayed in the 700, 800 range. But that's a topic for another day, or I've already discussed that already, okay? But NXT, what do we have tonight? A very strong card, though, for this show. All right, so if NXT's going to go out with a bang on Wednesday nights, they really went out with a big one tonight. I'll say that right now. Now, I didn't really see much of the pre-show. I didn't really know there was even a pre-show in general. But Zoe Stark had defeated Toni Storm, which I'm kind of surprised to hear that. I know Zoe Stark's been on TV for a minute, and they've really been having her on TV for a good minute since they signed her and whatnot. But I was kind of surprised she beat Toni Storm. I'm like, wow, what happened to the Toni Storm push? Like, man, it's kind of crazy she's already on the pre-show. I know a lot of people were praising Toni Storm because she brought the shorts back instead of the pants and whatnot. But, yeah, I'm kind of surprised Toni Storm took the L right here. Stark is good, still a little bit botchy here in times there, but she's not bad, though. But it's kind of crazy that they, you know, had to beat Toni Storm already, so I'm a little bit surprised by that. But we do kick off the actual show for NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. We kick it off with Nita Strauss, who's out there play guitar. Well, basically the Star Spangled Banner and whatnot, basically on her guitar. You know, Stand and Deliver. Of course, you know, you got performance students. I don't know if they were fans. I don't know how many people those were fans and whatnot. But basically, they had a big skull on the ramp. They had an elevated ramp again, so the ramp was you know, risen up and whatnot. But yeah, we got a big skull out there, and there was like another skull on like one of the screens with a pirate, since, you know, everything's about pirates right now, okay? Well, it's WrestleMania weekend there in Florida, so they're doing the same thing like last year. But we do kick it off, though, with Pete Dunne versus Kushida. Very great, solid start to kick off the show. Very enjoyable match. I like this. Very technical, very fast-paced, and hard-hitting at the same time. Yes, like I said, very enjoyable match. I did like this. Freaking Kushida hitting a freaking damn near a Spanish fly after to a hoverboard and whatnot, going for his hoverboard lock. Pete Dunne trying to break his fingers again. He did do that at one point in the match. Kushida tried to go for his big haymaker punch, which he did connect, but when he tried to go for it again, Pete Dunne got him with his fingers, the whole finger break thing, the finger break stuff. And then he stomped on his hands a couple times. He hit him with a big kick to the back of the head. And then he hit Kushida with the bitter end, with Pete Dunne getting the win and whatnot. Wow, I'm messing with my words right here. Kushida, which they had protected at one point, taking some L's right now, okay? But he took a clean loss right here to Pete Dunne, which I guess they got some plans for him right now. So we'll see where this goes. He doesn't really have only Lorcan and Birch with him anymore, and Pat McAfee isn't around. So Pete Dunne is on his own again. So we'll see where that goes with him. Okay, but yeah, very fun match to kick off the show. Like I said, great solid opener between Kushida and Pete Dunne. So yeah, enjoyed that match. Next, though, second match on the card tonight was a gauntlet match, an eliminator match to see who's going to be facing Johnny Gargano tomorrow night for the NXT North American Championship. Leon Ruff and Swerve are already in the ring, basically going back and forth with each other until Bronson Reed came in. One move that I did like, he had to come in every 90 seconds or whatnot, every 3 minutes, but yeah, he did like a big, that wasn't a moonsault or nothing, almost like a double German suplex, something like that, and Reed basically threw both of these guys halfway through the ring. What was it? I know Cameron Grimes came out then. He tried to give Swerve some cash to pay him and bribe him off and whatnot. All right, I'm going to take the cash and whatnot, but basically tried to go for Leon Ruff then, but Ruff got out the way, basically taking down both Swerve and Big Money Grimes right there. So, yeah, man, the dude he's got all the money right now, all the money and everything. Dexter Lumis was next. Basically, as he was coming to the ring, Swerve ended up eliminating Leon Ruff then, so Ruff was gone. But as Dexter Lumis came out, basically, basically trying to hit that Katagane on people and whatnot. Grimes, I know he tried to go for Dexter Lumis, kind of backed up from him then. So he tried to get him with some moves. He tried to pay him off, but that didn't work. Eli Drake came out then cutting a promo saying, he was going to punk Grimes all the way into deep space. And as he was on his way to the ring cutting his promo and whatnot, next thing you know, Dexter Lumis kind of came out of nowhere, showing up from behind on Eli Drake, throwing him back into the ring then right after. Lumis tried to go for his Katagame onto Eli Drake, but I guess Eli Drake ended up hitting like a pin, like he got like reversed the submission and held onto the ropes for the pin, eliminating Dexter Lumis, which I was surprised by that. Dexter Lumis was my pick to win this match, so I was surprised he was gone. But right after, Eli Drake was next after Bronson Reed basically slammed him to the ground and took him out. Lumis ended up hitting his Katagame onto Eli Drake on the outside of the ring then. Next thing you know, you only had like 3 guys left between Grimes, Reed, and Swerve out there. Very good back and forth sequence moves. I like that collision course Cameron Grimes did onto Bronson Reed, which looked really good. Swerve ended up getting rid of Grimes then, basically reversing the roll-ups on each other, holding on to the tight stand. And then we had Swerve and Bronson Reed next, which I gotta say, they were really killing it out there, all right? Reed, not Reed, but Swerve picking up Reed, knocking him to the apron, to the ground, even hitting a 450 for a near fall. He tried to get Reed back up with a few more kicks, but Reed got back up, hit him with a Samoan drop, and hit the big tsunami splash for the win. So, I gotta say, Bronson Reed was like my third pick to win in this, okay? Because first I was going with Dexter Lumis, then I was going with Eli Drake, and then I was going to go with Bronson Reed. So, at least my third pick won. I was like, well, they gotta need a face because Gargano's a heel, so someone needs to face the heel, all right? And I gotta say, they did a lot of great with Swerve out there because this is probably the best Swerve has looked in a while right now because most of the time they got him jobbing to a lot of guys on this show. So at least we're seeing something good. But yeah, let's see if Bronson Reed can win the big one right here. So good win for him. Really did enjoy this this whole gauntlet match though. Very fun to watch. Now next, in my opinion, which was the match of the freaking night, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa for the NXT United UK Championship. Ciampa finally going back to the old Ciampa again, having his whole old gear back. Shaved his head, doesn't look like old man Logan anymore. He looks like the real Tommaso Ciampa, 2018 Tommaso Ciampa, I should say. So, of course, Ciampa was ready for a fight. Both of these guys striking each other at first. Man, why do I always get a phone call during a freaking review? Hold on. But yeah, I always got all these phone calls every time I'm doing a review. Doesn't make any sense. But as I was saying, with both Ciampa and Walter, though, Walter backing Ciampa into the corner. Ciampa getting out of the way, coming back with several strikes on him. Basically, Walter even ended up chopping him onto the ground. You could hear the sound of that chop. And he'd start chopping him when he was on top of the turnbuckle then. And then when they got to the outside, Walter tried to chopped Ciampa on the announce table. Ciampa got out the way, and basically Walter's hand broke the logo to it then, so I guess his hand was starting to get injured. Walter ended up suplexing Ciampa onto the apron then after that, which started giving him more chops then. Ciampa coming back with some kicks, even taking down Walter to his knee, hitting him with a kick then right after. Walter basically grabbing Ciampa, trying to put him into an STO then. But once again, Ciampa using kicks to get out of submission and whatnot. Walter, he threw Ciampa around the ring again, hit him with some kicks. Walter basically, this was a crazy spot right here. Hit him with like a big high knee to the head, which looked insane out there. Ciampa coming back, trying to fight, was hitting him with strikes after strikes, even no-selling some of Walter's strikes, especially with those giant chops that were going down. One big move Ciampa freaking hit, which I think this was crazy. He hit him with a big air raid crash from the top of the turnbuckle, which got a 2 count then, which was insane. Ciampa tried to go for the fairy tale ending, but Walter kept getting out of it. Ciampa kicked him several times until he hit the fairy tale ending. which Walter had kicked out 2. Then Ciampa trying to hit Walter with a big running knee, but Walter basically got Ciampa with a sleeper. Then Ciampa got to the ropes and whatnot, but Walter took him out with a German suplex, big clothesline for a 2 count. He got out of the power bomb then, but Walter trying to go back into Ciampa's spine then right after. Ciampa basically dodging that, taking him down. But once again, Walter got to the ropes then after Ciampa tried to put him into another submission, which he tried to get Walter with several more punches and whatnot, and tried to go for the Willow's Bell, but and everything, but Walter was able to get out of it again. Ciampa, I guess, just kept punching him down, doing his best to take down Walter, but it did not work. Walter, basically, they went to the top rope then right after, and he went for another air raid crash, by the way. The super air raid crash off the top rope then, because he did the first one in the ring, but I actually thought it was going to be over after the second air raid crash, but since it still did not work, Walter ended up chopping Ciampa again, and then, just stomping on Ciampa's neck then right after, onto the ground. He hit him with a big power bomb then for a 2 count, which both men were down. Walter ended up taking Ciampa, hit him with a big, like, half Nelson suplex, and then taking him down with one more big, like, clothesline chop, getting the pinfall then after that. This was a war, okay? This was a war. The rest of the Imperium guys showed up then, basically, doing their pose onto the stage as Ciampa looked on. But this was insane. Both men beat the living hell out of each other. Like I said, this was the match of the freaking night for me out of TakeOver, and I enjoyed every bit of it, okay? I like this match. Walter just hit you real hard. I know some people aren't the biggest fan of Walter, but if you go back and look at his match with the Ilja Dragunov back at the NXT UK, this was insane, and Ciampa showing why Ciampa, he's still the freaking guy and whatnot. He's still like a main event player around here. So, both of these men beat the hell out of each other. I actually thought Ciampa was going to win several times, but obviously that was not going to happen, I guess. I actually thought Thatcher was going to come out and interfere or get involved, or even Killian Dane, since they kept bringing those guys up, but we did not see them, and Walter beat Ciampa clean. So, like I said, match of the night if you ask me. And some would say this is where the show actually peaked in after this. We did see the dog again, which we saw a woman pick up the dog. And I guess Frankie Monet will be debuting next Tuesday on NXT. Basically, Taya Valkyrie, okay? I know that tattoo anywhere. Like, come on, it's Taya. We all know it's Taya. I wish they didn't change her name to this. Frankie Monet, not the biggest fan of that. But it's Taya, folks. It's Taya. Next was the tag team titles on the line. The vacant tag team titles. We didn't get a promo from Zach Gibson, or we didn't get a entrance from MSK, but it was MSK versus Legado del Fantasma versus the Grizzled Young Veterans. One word I could say about this match, spot fest, folks, and by God, it was just crazy all over the place. I don't even think the cameraman could keep up with everything that was going on. This was a spot fest, all right? Some would say this may have been the filler match or their least favorite match out of the night. I knew MSK was winning. I never really kind of had any doubt in my mind. I actually thought Legado del Fantasma was actually going to be taking the pin after this. That's why I think they were added to the match. But with MSK and GYV, I think I see saying GYD at the time, but basically GYV though, they took out Legado near the end, and then both teams went at each other until MSK got the finish onto Zach Gibson for the win. Like I said, still an enjoyable match, but it was just all spot fest. That's basically what it was. As my co-host would say, you could see that shit on AEW. It would be exactly the same freaking thing, okay? Even my other friend, Steven, he would sit there and tell you, just add the Lucha Brothers, and basically you get the same match. It'll just be insane, all right? And like I said, I knew who was going to win. The only thing I really got wrong, I actually thought Legado was going to be taking the pinfall. I didn't think GYV would be losing to MSK 2 times in a row. So I didn't really expect that. But at the same time, it was very predictable. My friend thought the crowd was turning on him, but then again, you can't tell sometimes because I know it's a real crowd out there, but they still add in the fake crowd noise too. So it's like the real crowd may be booing, but the fake crowd noise has cheers, canned in for it, okay? So that's what you kind of thought about that. But like I said, still, I already knew who was going to be winning the titles here. MSK, I'm not surprised. Dez and Wentz get the win, so good on them. All right, good on them. But yeah, predictable. Spot Fest match. That's all you can really define this. Spot Fest. I know they announced Poppy will be performing tomorrow night on NXT. Stephanie McMahon trying to get brownie points out there by having Sarai. I think that's the new was like one of the new signings they got, or I think I said her name right, Sarai. I don't know much about her. I guess she's from Stardom. So somebody said she was in the AEW Women's Tournament. I'm not really sure about that. Like I said, I don't know who this girl is. I really don't. But I'll give NXT one thing. I think I said this last week or two. They signed the better Joshi wrestlers, and I know someone's gonna bring, oh, well, they ruined them on the main roster, but it's debatable. But I'm not gonna go into that right now. All right. But yeah, Stephanie McMahon was just doing her best to trying to get herself over out there. But in the main event, we had Io Shirai versus Raquel Gonzalez for the NXT Women's Championship. This was the main event. Of course, you know how this works with the big entrance and the big announcement and whatnot. Good match. Not bad. I think this was still predictable. I think we all know who was gonna win. I enjoyed this match a lot, though. It was still good. Nothing bad about it. But I just knew, come on, we all knew Gonzalez was winning. All right. And I know Io was hitting like freaking 619s out there. And even getting a code red for like a big 2 count and whatnot. But, Gonzalez using her strength, trying to put into the Uranagi. But, Io getting the crippler crossface on her then. Gonzalez getting to the ropes then. Even Io jumping on the Gonzalez to the outside of the ring. But, what was it? Io, she tried to get her back in the ring here with like a meteor and whatnot. And then they were on the outside of it. They were out there on the stage. And Io ended up jumping on a giant skull and whatnot. And jumping onto Gonzalez, say it was like 6 feet or however high it was. So Io got in the ring, went for the moonsault. Gonzalez kicked out at 2. Basically power bombed Io at ringside in and put her back into the ring. Io tried to hit a shote, but Gonzalez hit a big clothesline, and then she hit her with her finisher, the whole big Uranagi thing, and is now the new NXT Women's Champion. So we all knew this was coming. Io had a great reign. She had a very long reign, too. I know some people got bored with it at some points in time, but Io had enough time with the title, okay? It was time for Gonzalez. Gonzalez did beat her back at War Games. Like I said, I'm surprised they didn't do this sooner, but I guess they wanted to wait till, around Mania weekend to do this whole thing. So, Io had a very powerful and great long title run, but this was Gonzalez's time, and it was a good match out there. I enjoyed it. They said this was the actual shortest match of the entire night. That's why I kind of questioned why this was the main event last week, like I said before. I know I would have put in the main event, though, Cole and O'Reilly to kick, end it off. But this was still a good match, though. Then again, I probably would have put Walter and Ciampa damn near in the main event. That was the match of the night, if you ask me. But like I said, this was a good match. And I know everybody's going to start speculating, will Io go to the main roster? And, of course, I'm sure everybody on the internet's going to go, well, how fast until they ruin this? I have no idea. And 9 times out of 10, they could. But I don't know. I'm sure Io will probably be sticking on NXT a little bit longer before they move her to the main roster. That's what I could see going, all right? Because I know some people are going to say, well, let's bring up Almas, which is true. But at the same time, I don't think he's worth $3 million at the same time, too, wherever that's going. I like the guy, but he ain't worth no $3 million. But, yeah, Io, we'll see what happens with Io next. I don't know. But like I said, very good match to end off TakeOver tonight. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow night, night 2 of TakeOver. A lot going on, still stacked card, cruiserweight title on the line. What is it? Freaking Devlin and Escobar ladder match for the dual cruiserweight title to see who the real cruiserweight champion is. Who else? Johnny Gargano versus Bronson Reed for the NXT North American Championship. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell for the NXT Women's Tag Titles. Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly for, but in an unsanctioned match. And in the main event, Finn Balor, Cross, NXT title on the line. So, overall, a very fun show. I think it peaked after the 3rd match, though. like I said, the best match out the entire night was Walter versus Ciampa, okay? That's how I put it. Walter versus Ciampa, then I'll put the Gauntlet match, then I would put the Pete Dunne and Kushida, then maybe, and then next I will put EO and Gonzalez, and then last the tag team title match. That was probably like the least match I probably liked on this entire show, but still, Walter versus Ciampa was the match of the night for me for TakeOver, okay? So yeah, Stand and Deliver kicked it off real great tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night. I know it's going to be on Peacock, so yeah, this was the final time NXT will be on the USA Network on Wednesday nights before they move back to Tuesday next week. So yeah, this so-called Wednesday night war, skirmish, battle, tussle, whatever you want to call it, is over, okay? I still don't think any of these two shows will still get over 1 million views, even on separate nights. Maybe 1 or 2 times, maybe, but I don't see it happening every freaking week, all right? But yeah, NXT went out with a bang tonight on Wednesdays, and it was great show out there. But other than that, that's my review of TakeOver. I'm out of here. See you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow night for night 2 of this review. I'm out of here. Peace.